Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine stepping back thousands of years to a time when civilizations sculpted these colossal stone heads that just, well, defy modern engineering, a time when they meticulously mapped the stars, I mean, to an astonishing degree. And their entire understanding of the cosmos was shaped by these incredible, really profound stories of creation. Today, we're embarking on a true deep dive. We're going right into the origins of Mesoamerican mythology. You provided us with some fascinating excerpts focusing on Quetzalcoatl, Olmec, and Maya creation myths. And our mission, really, for this exploration is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from these ancient traditions. Get ready for some surprising facts and, I think, truly profound insights into how these foundational cultures understood the universe, the very essence of life, and what it meant to be human.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here is how these ancient belief systems weren't just stories, or isolated religious doctrines. They were utterly integral to daily life. They dictated social structures, they guided political decisions, and they even underpinned their remarkable scientific and astronomical understanding. We're really going to explore the bedrock, the very foundation of civilizations that left such an indelible mark on human history.
It sounds like a real challenge, though, especially for the earlier periods.
Oh, absolutely. It presents a unique challenge, studying pre-Columbian myths, especially when you consider the Olmec. Our understanding relies almost entirely on archaeological evidence, on the silent whispers of their art, because they didn't leave us written records like later cultures did. Yet, even across this huge expanse of time and cultural evolution, we'll see this strong, persistent thread that of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent running through both the Olmec and Maya traditions. It hints at its eventual, well, monumental role in later Mesoamerican societies like the Aztecs, but our focus today, remains firmly on its profound Olmec and Maya roots.
Right. So, to begin this journey, let's establish our historical coordinates and get our bearings. Our sources highlight two foundational civilizations in Mesoamerica, the Olmec and the Maya. Can you guide us through their timelines a bit? Position them within the grand tapestry of ancient American history. Maybe show us how one sort of laid the groundwork for the other.
Certainly. Yeah, let's set the stage. Our journey really begins with the Olmec. This is a civilization often referred to as the mother culture of Mesoamerica.
The mother culture, okay.
Exactly. Their influence just radiates outwards, shaping so much of what came after. They emerged around 1500 BCE, give or take, and they flourished for over a millennium, a really long time before their decline around 400 BCE. Their heartland was primarily concentrated in the hot, humid, and remarkably fertile lowlands of what is now the Mexican states of Veracruz and Tabasco.
So a very specific environment.
Very specific. Picture this landscape dominated by vast river basins, providing abundant water for agriculture, essential for survival, and dense tropical forests, just teeming with life and natural resources. This environment wasn't just their home, it was a living entity. It was deeply intertwined with and actively shaping their myths, their entire worldview.
How so?
Well, think about the animals, the weather patterns, the power of the rivers. These would have been immediate, powerful forces in their lives. But what makes understanding the Olmec particularly challenging, yet, endlessly intriguing, is the absence of those written records detailing their mythological and religious systems.
Right. No books, no inscriptions telling us this god did that.
Precisely. Unlike later cultures, we don't have their sacred texts, so our entire understanding is painstakingly pieced together from their surviving archaeological remains. And their incredible symbolic art, which, despite its silence, really speaks volumes about their beliefs and their, frankly, sophisticated thought. Their profound innovations in art, in political organization, religious iconography were absolutely foundational. They really set the stage for the complex societies, including the Maya, that would follow.
Okay, so the Olmec laid the original blueprints, kind of the first strokes on the canvas of Mesoamerican civilization. Then the Maya, building upon that foundation, developed something far more intricate, more expansive. How did they inherit that legacy and then, well, transform it?
That's a perfect way to put it. The Maya civilization, flourishing from approximately, let's say, 250 BCE right up until about 900 CE, they truly built upon that Olmec foundation. They developed a far more intricate, far more expansive mythological structure. Their peak, the Maya Classic period, roughly 250 to 900 CE, wasn't just a date range.
It was Golden Age.
It really was a golden age where these vast city-states like Tikal, Palenque, Copan rose to prominence. Monumental architecture, incredible artistic achievements, and intellectually pursuits in astronomy, mathematics including zero, which is huge, and writing saw these unprecedented advancements. It was in this vibrant, dynamic context that their complex mythological narratives, unlike the Olmecs, were not just preserved but actively refined. They were monumentalized in their written sacred texts.
So we can actually read their stories.
We can. That's the key difference. We have their highly advanced cosmology laid out, a vast, detailed pantheon of deities described. This is what sets the Maya apart and provides us with such incredible direct insights. Their civilization spread across a significant geographical area too: southeast Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, parts of El Salvador, showing this remarkable cultural unity across diverse landscapes.
It's that foundational wisdom then, that groundwork laid by the Olmec, which allowed the Maya to take these mythic structures and build something even more intricate, something we can actually read. And it's here, you mentioned, where our common thread truly emerges. Straddling both these cultures, a figure surfaces that becomes one of Mesoamerica's most powerful, most enduring mythological entities. Quetzalcoatl, this name. Feathered serpent, translating from Nahuatl. It immediately conjures this powerful, almost paradoxical image, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And Quetzalcoatl is so much more than just a name. It's a profound concept, a potent symbol, and an enduring legacy that speaks volumes about the interconnectedness of their worldview. This deity is initially understood as a complex figure. It embodies creation, knowledge, civilization itself, and the very force of the wind.
A lot packed into one figure.
A huge amount. And while our deep dive today will primarily focus on its Olmec and Maya roots, it's important to briefly acknowledge, as I mentioned, that Quetzalcoatl later became one of the central, most revered figures in Aztec mythology. That just stands as a testament to how profound and enduring its influence was across millennia and diverse cultures. So, for our understanding of the deep roots of Mesoamerican mythology, we're examining a foundational deity. It embodies the very essence of creation, the gifting of human progress, and the fundamental forces of nature in these ancient worlds. It's truly a bridge between epochs.
Okay, now let's turn our attention specifically back to the Olmec. Given that lack of written records, the absence of directly narrated myths, how do we, as modern observers, even begin to reconstruct their intricate belief world? What unique clues have they left for us, almost like whispers from a long-lost past that allow us to infer their cosmic understanding?
Yeah, that's the core challenge, isn't it? And simultaneously, the profound excitement of studying the Olmec. Our knowledge, as you rightly point out, is largely based on painstakingly interpreting their archaeological findings. They didn't leave us explicit narratives like the Maya Popol Vuh, but their art, wow, it's incredibly rich with symbolism. It's like a visual language that communicates deep meaning. The key Olmec artistic motifs that serve as our mythological clues include these powerful jaguar figures, ubiquitous serpent symbols, and, of course, the truly monumental colossal stone heads.
Ah, those colossal heads, they're just breathtaking. I mean, their sheer scale is mind-boggling. What do they tell us about Olmec belief and maybe their concept of leadership?
They are magnificent indeed, and still somewhat enigmatic. They continue to spark debate among scholars, actually. These colossal stone heads carved from massive basalt boulders, often weighing tens of tons. They were frequently transported from quarries hundreds of kilometers away.
Hundreds of kilometers? How did they even do that?
Exactly. This Herculean effort alone suggests immense organizational power and a profound societal investment. It wasn't trivial. Now, while we don't have written labels saying this is King so-and-so, they are widely believed to be representations of Olmec rulers. But it's likely not simply about depicting leadership in a secular way. It's probably about a fusion of leadership and sacred authority.
Okay, so more than just a portrait.
Much more. The distinct, individualized facial features on each head, often adorned with these elaborate helmets or headgear, maybe signifying rank or lineage, might signify specific rulers or powerful shaman kings. Individuals who were seen not just as political leaders, but as conduits, as bridges between the human realm and the supernatural. Their very presence in significant sites like San Lorenzo and La Venta would have constantly reinforced the divine mandate of the ruling elite, projecting this sense of eternal power, a connection to the cosmos.
So it tells us their leaders were likely considered more than just men, maybe extensions of divine will or even divine themselves.
That's a very plausible interpretation, yes. Holding sway over both earthly matters and the cosmic order, ensuring the well-being of their people through their perceived sacred power. It connects leadership directly to the sacred.
And the natural world clearly played a huge role, given that fertile tropical environment you described. How did that immediate, powerful connection to their surroundings, translate into their mythology,
Yeah.
especially through animal symbolism.
Oh, it was absolutely central. It was the very fabric of their cosmos. The Olmecs lived in this region defined by its fertile river basins and dense tropical forests, a landscape teeming with powerful, often dangerous creatures. This environment wasn't just their physical home, it was their cosmos, their spiritual landscape. The forces of nature weren't just external phenomena, they were living, sacred entities that demanded respect and understanding.
Like the jaguar. That seems to pop up a lot in discussions of Olmec art.
Exactly. Let's take the jaguar. It's a dominant motif, appearing everywhere from small, intricately carved figurines to monumental altars. The jaguar was considered this incredibly potent symbol of supernatural forces. It embodied both the raw, untamed predatory qualities of the wilderness, its strength, its stealth, its ferocity, and also protective, almost guardian-like aspects.
So both dangerous and protective.
Precisely. A duality. It's a liminal creature, you see, standing on the boundary between nature and humanity, between the visible world and the unseen spirit realms. It was seen as a sacred being, perhaps representing that duality, life and death, day and night, the wildness of nature versus the nascent order of civilization. And the frequent depiction of jaguars, these human-jaguar hybrids, suggests a belief in shamanic transformation.
A shaman could become a jaguar.
Or take on its power, yeah. Individuals who could bridge the divide between human and animal, accessing supernatural powers. Its pervasive presence suggests a deep respect for, and maybe even a primal fear of, the untamed power of the natural world. A power they sought to understand, appease through ritual, and perhaps even emulate through their leaders.
Okay, and the serpent. That's another motif that seems to just wind its way throughout all Mesoamerican cultures, eventually culminating in the feathered serpent we talked about.
Yeah.
What was its significance for the Olmecs specifically?
The serpent, or Kotli as its Nahuatl root would suggest later on, serpent symbols are equally, if not more, significant in Olmec art. We see pervasive themes of transformation in Olmec myths, particularly through these serpentine figures and those jaguar-human hybrids we just mentioned. These forms symbolize the fluidity between natural and supernatural realms. Think about it. A creature that sheds its skin, appearing to die and be reborn.
Right, that constant renewal.
Exactly. This inherent ability made the serpent a potent symbol of transformation, renewal, and the cyclical nature of existence. Its sinuous form often evoked the flow of water, especially rivers and rain, which were absolutely vital for agriculture in their fertile lowlands. This connection underscores their profound reverence for nature's powerful forces, their intimate relationship with the earth and water, and their understanding of the life-death cycle as a continuous, interconnected process.
So not just linear birth to death, but a constant cycle.
Exactly. A perpetual cycle of renewal, much like the seasons, or the shedding of a serpent's skin. The serpent represented not just the Earth's fertility, but potentially also the depths of the underworld, and maybe even the celestial movements of the sky. It's incredibly multifaceted.
So even without direct narratives, wow, we can infer a great deal about their cosmic understanding just through their art and the profound influence of their environment. What can we piece together about their early creation ideas from these clues?
You're right, Olmec creation myths aren't directly narrated. We don't have a text that says, "in the beginning." But we infer their cosmic understanding through the sanctity they attributed to natural phenomena in the elements. Elements like water and earth were considered profoundly sacred, not just as resources, but as primordial forces. Water, for instance, was sanctified as the very source of life itself. Rivers, the seasonal rains, the elements of the sky, these were integral to their cosmic order, providing sustenance and representing the cyclical flow of life.
Do they have a sense of cosmic structure, like different levels?
It seems likely. Archaeological findings at sites like La Venta suggest a structured worldview. Altars and monuments are often aligned with cardinal directions, hinting at a conception of a cosmic structure. Some scholars piecing together this archaeological puzzle suggest that the Olmecs believed in a multi-layered cosmic structure, perhaps dividing the underworld, the earthly realm, and the upper world. This is a common Mesoamerican concept that would be elaborated upon by the Maya later. So in summary, their creation understanding was deeply rooted in harmonious living with nature and actively supporting nature's cycles through ritual and reverence. We see this specifically highlighted in their veneration of rain gods and the ubiquitous serpent motifs, which are thought to represent these vital, revitalizing forces essential for life and renewal.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how deeply embedded their belief system was within their natural surroundings, how every aspect of their world was just infused with spiritual meaning. It kind of invites us to ponder how such an intimate connection to our environment might reshape our own modern perspective on nature. Okay, moving forward in time now. The Maya civilization inherited much from the Olmec, including, as we'll see, the seed of that feathered serpent concept. But they took mythological storytelling to an entirely new level, giving us these profound insights through their meticulously documented written texts. What was their world like, and how did these texts, particularly the Popol Vuh, shape our understanding of their cosmology?
Yeah, the Maya truly represent a civilization's zenith in Mesoamerica, especially during that classic period, 250 to 900 CE. As we mentioned, geographically widespread across modern-day Southeast Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, parts of Honduras, and El Salvador. This was a society characterized by incredibly complex social hierarchy, yes, but what truly distinguished them was their highly developed astronomy. They had sophisticated observatories, their advanced mathematics, including the concept of zero, and an exceptionally precise calendar system that tracked cycles over millennia. It's just staggering.
And mythology wasn't separate from that.
Not at all. What's utterly fascinating is how deeply mythology was intertwined with these advanced societal features. It wasn't just a separate set of stories for, bedtime. Their gods were believed to ensure universal order, guiding celestial movements, the flow of time itself. Cosmic events weren't just random occurrences, they carried profound mythological meaning. They reinforced the divine order and human obligation. Every celestial movement, every agricultural cycle, every significant birth or death had a spiritual significance woven meticulously into their daily lives, their architecture, their rituals.
And their written records, especially the Popol Vuh, seem like a real game changer for our understanding. It offers this direct window into their worldview, unlike anything we have for the Olmec.
Absolutely. The Popol Vuh is undeniably one of the most invaluable sources for understanding Maya cosmology and their creation story. It's the sacred text of the Quiche Maya people. And it's a truly remarkable example of rich oral traditions that were later committed to writing, likely in the post-classic period, ensuring their survival. Thank goodness they did. The text itself is this comprehensive cosmic and anthropological narrative. It charts everything from the very beginning of creation, when all was silent and still, to the emergence of humanity, the adventures of the famous hero twins, and the establishment of Quiche lineage. It's truly a foundational text for their worldview, a blueprint for their understanding of the universe and humanity's place within it.
That's quite a scope. Can you walk us through the creation sequence as described in the Popol Vuh? What are its unique features?
Of course. It's really quite poetic. The Popol Vuh opens with this profound statement. Initially, there was only emptiness, stillness, and placid waters. Nothing had yet been created, nothing stirred, nothing existed but the sky and the sea. A primordial state. This then gives way to the active shapers of the universe, the creator gods, often referred to as Tepe-Tepu and the sovereign plumed serpent Gukumats, who is the Quiche Maya equivalent of Quetzalcoatl, connecting back to our thread, and also Huracan, the heart of sky.
Gukumats. Okay, so the feathered serpent is right there at the beginning for the Maya.
Right there. These deities are central to the creation process, and they begin not with a physical act like molding clay, but by speaking existence into being. They formed light and darkness, then the sky and the earth, raising the mountains from the waters, calling forth the trees and animals. But here's where it gets truly distinct and profound. The gods use the power of word and thought to bring creation into being.
Word and thought, not just action.
Exactly. This is a crucial point. It highlights the Maya's immense reverence for language, for the sacred power of communication. Creation wasn't just a physical act or a divine breath. It was a spoken, intellectual act of sheer will. The world was literally named into existence.
That's a fascinating contrast to many other creation myths that focus on, say, a physical molding or a divine battle. The power of words is absolutely central here. It's almost as if language itself is divine for them.
Precisely. It speaks volumes about the value they placed on communication, on knowledge, and on their intricate system of hieroglyphic writing. The Popol Vuh then details the gods' subsequent and sometimes quite comical attempts to create humanity, their ultimate creation. Their initial attempts to create humans from materials like mud fail because these beings are unstable, they just crumble.
Mud men didn't work out. Nope. They can try wood. But these wooden beings are soulless, emotionless. They can't speak properly. They can't worship. They can't truly understand their creators or their world. And these failures aren't just narrative devices, I think. They suggest a kind of divine learning process, a search for the perfect form of humanity that could truly honor and sustain the cosmic order.
So they needed beings who could participate, who could understand.
Exactly, who can reciprocate. And finally, after these trials and deliberations, humans are successfully created from sacred corn, ixim in Quichua Maya. And corn is not just a food source in Maya culture. It is the essence of life itself, a sacred being, the foundational sustenance that supported their entire civilization.
Created from corn.
Wow.
Yeah. The profound implication here is that because humans are created from corn, they are intrinsically linked to, and in harmony with, nature and the gods. This isn't merely a fascinating origin story, it's a foundational insight into the Maya psyche. Unlike cultures where humanity might be seen as separate from or dominant over nature, the Maya saw themselves literally born of the earth's bounty. This fundamentally shaped their agricultural practices, their elaborate rituals, even their concept of cyclical time. If your very essence is corn, you are eternally bound to its growth, its death, and its rebirth. So this text doesn't just explain creation. It meticulously outlines the moral and cosmic order. It defines the roles and rituals of Maya society within this grand, living cosmic structure, emphasizing their reciprocal duties to the gods who gifted them life.
That's incredibly profound. And alongside this rich creation narrative, the Maya developed this vast and complex pantheon of gods. What were some of the key figures that guided their world, and how did they interact with human life?
The Maya pantheon was indeed vast, incredibly diverse. Deities representing every aspect of the natural world in cosmic order. The sky, the earth, the underworld, the life-giving rain, the sun, the moon, you name it. Each deity played a specific, vital role in maintaining the balance of the universe, and their actions directly impacted human existence.
Can you give us a few examples?
Sure. Some of the key deities include Itzamna. He was often considered the supreme creator god, depicted as an aged, wise deity, associated with wisdom, writing, knowledge, the sky, patron of learning, inventor of writing, and the calendar embodying those intellectual achievements of Maya civilization. Then there's Cheyak, the vital rain god. You can usually recognize him by his long, pendulous nose, often holding an axe symbolizing thunder and lightning. Absolutely crucial for farmers. The rhythmic cycle of rain was essential for the corn crops. His benevolence meant life, his absence meant famine.
A very important god, then.
Hugely important. Also, Kawil, the god of fertility, abundance, and lightning, often depicted with a smoking mirror on his forehead and a serpent-like foot. Strongly associated with royalty and the lineage of kings, symbolizing power and prosperity derived from divine favor and agricultural success. He represented the potent forces that made the earth fruitful. And on the other side, Puch, the formidable god of death in the underworld. Often depicted as a skeleton or a decaying corpse, sometimes adorned with bells. He ruled Xibalba, the Maya underworld, a terrifying place of trials. His domain underscored the cyclical nature of life and death, an essential part of the cosmic balance.
And the hero twins, they sound important too.
Oh, definitely. The heroic twins from the Popol Vuh, Hunahpu, and Xbalanque. They're not just gods, but pivotal cultural heroes. Revered for their cunning, bravery, resilience, especially during their perilous journey into Xibalba. Their adventures, where they outwit and defeat the lords of the underworld, ultimately lead to the triumph of life over death and the emergence of the sun and moon. They symbolize cosmic order and renewal.
So it sounds like this intricate web of relationships meant that Maya mythology defined a really complex reciprocal relationship between humans, gods, and the universe.
Exactly. The gods sustained cosmic order through their actions, bringing rain, ensuring fertility, governing celestial movements. And they were, in turn, sustained by human rituals, offerings, reverence. Humans, by meticulously fulfilling their duties, which included elaborate ceremonies, dances, sometimes blood offerings, ensured this divine order continued. They maintained the delicate cosmic balance. It was a constant give and take, a symbiotic relationship where the well-being of one directly impacted the other. It emphasized this profound sense of responsibility for every individual within that intricately structured society.
Wow, this intricate web. It meant every aspect of life had divine significance, and their very existence was tied to maintaining cosmic balance through ritual. That's a profound way to live. Now let's zoom back in on the figure that truly ties these ancient threads together, connecting the enigmatic Olmec to the complex Maya. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. This isn't just a powerful deity. Our sources reveal this fascinating evolution across cultures, a real symbolic journey. How did this iconic figure come to be, and what does its name truly signify beyond just a literal translation?
Yeah, the name itself, Quetzalcoatl, is incredibly telling. It's key to understanding its profound symbolism. As you said, it comes from the Nahuatl language. Quetzal refers to the precious, iridescent green-gold feathers, usually from the quetzal bird renowned for its beauty associated with the heavens. And Quotl means serpent. So feathered serpent is the literal translation, yes, but its meaning extends so much further. This figure cleverly combines the serpent's profound power of fertility, its connection to the earth and the underworld shedding its skin, regenerating life with the spiritual and celestial symbolism of feathers and the sky, ascension, flight, the divine breath.
It's bridging worlds.
Exactly. Imagine a being that moves seamlessly between realms, burrowing into the earth like a serpent, yet soaring through the heavens like a bird. It embodies both the earthy and the ethereal, the chthonic and the celestial, a true bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, representing the complete cosmic totality.
And you mentioned its roots going way back to the Olmec. How do we see this evolution from those early Olmec serpent motifs to the more defined Quetzalcoatl and its Maya equivalent, Kukulkan?
It's a really fascinating journey of cultural continuity and adaptation. It's a testament to how foundational concepts can evolve over centuries. A strong connection can definitely be drawn between the earliest Olmec serpent motifs, which we talked about as symbols of transformation and fertility, and the developed, highly nuanced theme of the feathered serpent later on. In Olmec culture, serpents were seen as powerful representatives of both supernatural and cosmic powers, embodying the life-giving force of water in the mysterious depths of the earth. The Quetzalcoatl figure, as we understand it from later cultures, is believed to be the developed and, importantly, civilization-associated form of this mythological heritage that originated with the Olmec.
So the Olmec provided the raw symbol, and later cultures refined it.
Kind of like that, yeah. It's as if the Olmecs provided the foundational symbolic elements, the serpent, the connection to cycles, fertility, earth. And later cultures, particularly the Maya, elaborated upon them, adding that celestial dimension of feathers,
Right.
linking it more explicitly to the sky, to wind, and to intellectual pursuits like writing and the calendar.
And the Maya equivalent, Kukulkan.
Exactly. In Maya culture, this similar deity is known as Kukun, or, as we heard in the Popol Vuh, the sovereign plumed serpent Kukumats, among the Quiché Maya, one of the key creator deities. And just like Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan also carries that distinct serpent feather motif, embodying the same dual nature of earth and sky. Kukulkan functions as a god of creation, knowledge, and wind, holding a significantly prominent place in Maya cosmology. We even see physical manifestations of this reverence in places like the Temple of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza. During the equinoxes, the play of light and shadow on the pyramid staircase creates the illusion of a giant feathered serpent descending the pyramid. It's incredible.
Wow, that's amazing.
It really is, and it shows this isn't just a shared symbolism, but a shared core of belief about the divine forces guiding their world. It showcases profound cultural continuity and adaptation across different Mesoamerican civilizations.
So the feathered serpent clearly wears many hats, breaking the earth and sky. What were Quetzalcoatl's pivotal roles in Mesoamerican mythology? What made him such a versatile and central deity?
Quetzalcoatl, whether it's Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, truly serves a multitude of critical functions. That's what makes him one of the most versatile and undeniably important deities in the whole Mesoamerican pantheon.
Okay, like what?
Well, firstly, he's a fundamental creator god. He plays an active, really fundamental role in the creation of the world and humanity. In many narratives, including within the Popol Vuh as Gukumats, he is one of the primary architects of the cosmos, helping to shape the earth, create the mountains and valleys, ultimately bring forth life. He's the divine force that transforms that primordial chaos into ordered existence.
Okay, creator god. What else?
Secondly, and this is absolutely crucial for the development of civilization itself, he is revered as a civilizing wise man and benefactor. Quetzalcoatl is credited with teaching humanity essential knowledge and skills that lifted them from, well, a more primitive state. He brings agriculture, instructing people how to cultivate corn and other vital crops, transforming nomadic hunter-gatherers into settled, thriving societies. He's also credited with bringing the gift of writing, the intricate calendar system that governed their lives, sophisticated art forms, fundamental religious practices. He is the divine bringer of order and progress, literally gifting civilization to early societies.
So he brought them the tools for civilization.
The very tools. Thirdly, he is the god of wind and life giver. As the god of wind, his breath is seen as the very breath of life itself, animating the world, bringing movement and vitality. The wind also carries the clouds that bring vital rain, connecting him directly to sustenance and survival. He ensures the continuation of life and fertility through his pervasive connection to the atmosphere, meteorological phenomena essential for bountiful harvests.
Wind, creation, knowledge. Anything else?
Yes. Finally, he is often depicted as a hero and sacred king, an embodiment of ideal leadership. In many legends, he exhibits human-like qualities. He undergoes trials, makes sacrifices, even endures exile in some stories. He's a cultural hero who battles evil forces and tirelessly works to maintain cosmic order and the well-being of humanity. For example, some powerful legends describe him sacrificing his own blood to give life to humanity, a profoundly selfless act of creation.
Sacrificing his own blood.
Yes. Or descending into the underworld, Mictlan, to retrieve the bones of past generations, bringing them back to be given new life with his blood, literally creating the current iteration of humanity from corn and the essence of those who came before. This act of self-sacrifice and courage further solidifies his role as a revered leader, a benevolent deity, and a tireless benefactor of humanity.
Wow. What kind of leader or what kind of god do you think sacrifices their own blood for their people? It certainly paints a picture of a deity that isn't distant or detached, but profoundly invested in the well-being and creation of humanity. It really embodies values of sacrifice and collective flourishing, doesn't it?
Okay, as we've journeyed through these ancient civilizations, from the inferred beliefs of the Olmec to the explicit narratives of the Maya, certain powerful themes consistently resonate across both traditions. Let's really try to pull out these threads and see how they weave this consistent cosmic tapestry. What does it tell us about their shared worldview?
Yes, absolutely. Despite their distinct cultural characteristics and, the chronological separation, both Olmec and Maya mythology share these foundational philosophical and spiritual concepts. They reveal a remarkably cohesive worldview across Mesoamerica. It's a deep shared understanding of the universe.
Like what? What's the first big theme? One of the most profound overarching themes is creation as transformation, from chaos to order. In both Olmec and Maya mythologies, creation isn't presented as a singular, instantaneous event. It's a dynamic, often ongoing process. It's a journey moving from a chaotic, undifferentiated void, often described using terms like emptiness, water, darkness, to the establishment of a highly structured and ordered cosmos. These raw, formless elements are then actively shaped, brought into being by powerful creative deities. And the universe, in their understanding, isn't flat or singular. It's intricately divided into interconnected layers: the sky, the earthly realm, and the underworld.
The three realms.
Exactly. And these three realms are not separate or isolated. They're constantly interacting, influencing each other, maintaining a dynamic balance. This multi-layered cosmos is always in flux, always undergoing transformation.
So a dynamic, multi-layered cosmos, always in flux. But for the Maya, the method of creation seems particularly significant. You mentioned this earlier, by word and thought. How does that elevate their concept of creation?
It absolutely does, and it's a truly unique and profound aspect of Maya cosmology. In Maya mythology, specifically as detailed in the Popol Vuh, the creation process is achieved not just through physical acts, but remarkably, through word and thought. The gods use their voice, their very speech, to create the universe. They speak the mountains into existence, they call forth the animals, they command the light and darkness. This signifies the immense importance given to language, knowledge, and intellectual power within Maya society. The fact that the Popol Vuh describes creation through speech directly reflects the high value Maya society placed on writing and oral tradition.
So their writing system wasn't just record keeping.
Far from it. Their intricate hieroglyphic script wasn't just a way to record history or lineage, it was likely seen as a divine gift, a way to interact with the very forces that created the world, to participate in the cosmic act of naming and ordering. It highlights a culture that believed words held not just meaning, but actual creative power.
That reverence for language and knowledge definitely stands out as a unique aspect. What about the relationship between humans and nature? That seems like another consistent, deeply embedded thread, right?
Oh, it is an absolutely central and unifying theme, the sacred bond: humanity, nature, and corn. Humans in both Maya and Olmec mythologies are not seen as separate from nature or above it in some hierarchical sense. They are an inseparable, intrinsic part of it, and the most poignant illustration of this, as we discussed, is the profound symbolism of corn within Maya culture. The creation of humans from sacred corn. It's just profoundly significant. Corn isn't just food. It's the sacred being, the very essence of life, the foundational sacred food that literally sustained their civilization.
So that connection explains why agriculture was so sacred.
Absolutely. It fundamentally explains the sacredness of agriculture, particularly corn, within Maya society. Every kernel, every stalk, every harvest carries divine significance because it literally embodies humanity's origins and continued sustenance. Their entire agricultural cycle was essentially a religious act. This profound connection also underpins the deep respect for nature's powers, which is expressed constantly through elaborate rituals, offerings, reverence. Gods of rain like Cheik, wind like Kukulkan, the sun, the moon, they directly impact human life, governing the cycles of planting, harvesting, survival. Therefore, harmonious living with nature is not merely an abstract ideal. It's central to both the mythology and the daily life of these societies. Their entire existence, their agricultural success, their health, their very survival was perceived as utterly dependent on maintaining a balanced and respectful relationship with these powerful natural deities and the cosmic order they represented. It wasn't just a philosophical idea, it was a practical necessity deeply embedded.
That makes sense. And finally, these mythological concepts seem to constantly cycle back to the idea of transformation and rebirth, a continuous flow rather than a fixed state.
Indeed. That's another powerful, enduring theme that permeates both traditions. The cycle of life, transformation, and rebirth. Those prominent animal motifs we discussed earlier, the jaguar and the serpent, are potent symbols of supernatural transformation and rebirth. The jaguar, with its nocturnal habits, incredible strength, powerful predatory nature, it's associated with both immense power and the mysteries of death. Often seen as a guardian of the underworld or maybe a shamanic companion traversing realms. The serpent, through its remarkable ability to shed its skin and appear renewed, is intricately linked to the underworld, to fertility, and to the concept of continuous renewal and cyclical existence. It represents the perpetual shedding of the old to make way for the new.
So these animals kind of embody that fluidity.
Exactly. They blur the lines between gods, humans, and the natural world. They often appear as shape-shifting beings or spirit companions in myths, symbolizing the fluidity and interconnectedness of all life. Their pervasive presence underscores a deep understanding of cycles, life, death, decay, and renewal as fundamental to existence. They understood that death was not a definitive end, but a transformation, a necessary part of the larger eternal cycle of rebirth and regeneration. It mirrors the rhythms they observe so keenly in nature. The sun rising and setting, the seasons changing, the corn growing, dying, and being replanted. When you consider how deeply interconnected their very existence was with these rhythms of nature, with the understanding that life is this continuous dance of transformation, it truly invites us to see our own world not just as a linear progression, but perhaps as an eternal dance of creation, decay, and renewal.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for us today? We've journeyed from the enigmatic Olmec to the complex Maya, tracing these foundational myths that shaped such incredible civilizations. We've seen how the Olmec's intuitive understanding of nature, reflected in powerful symbols like the jaguar and serpent, laid the groundwork for this rich worldview, and how the Maya, with their astonishing written texts like the Popol Vuh, developed these intricate cosmologies where creation happened by the power of word and humanity was quite literally born from sacred corn. And right at the heart of it all, the feathered serpent, whether known as Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, stands as this enduring testament to the profound power of these myths, a deity of creation, knowledge, life itself, bridging realms, cultures, and millennia.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, these sophisticated mythological systems were far more than just religious beliefs. They profoundly influenced every aspect of these societies: their social structures, daily rituals, political order, their magnificent art, even their scientific and aesthetic expression. The rich cultural heritage of Mesoamerica simply cannot be truly understood without these foundational mythological narratives. They provided a complete worldview, an intricate blueprint for understanding the universe and humanity's essential, reciprocal place within it. And this, I think, raises an important question for you, the listener, to ponder long after our deep dive concludes. In a world that's often striving for harmony, what profound insights can we glean from cultures that saw humanity as inextricably linked to nature, literally born from the very essence of the earth, guided by wisdom brought by a magnificent feathered serpent? How might adopting a similar perspective, one that truly embraces interdependence and cyclical renewal, how might that change our own relationship with the natural world and perhaps the very stories we tell about our origins and maybe even our future?